If you think you're a high-value man, then answer this question honestly. When was the last time you felt a strong emotion and acted upon it right away? Now, be it a negative or positive emotion, be it happiness, sadness, horniness, anger, frustration, but I want you to think about it. And I want you to think, how long did it take you to take action on the negative emotion? And how long did it take you to take action on the positive emotion? See, because if we start taking action on the positive emotions that we have, such as motivation, drive, energy, inspiration from other people, we're going to go really, really up and high in life. As compared to the negative emotions, which we as human beings tend to take action on right away, be it sadness. An example would be, if you're sad, feeling lonely, the best thing as a man to do is open corn videos and jerk off. For an example, not for everybody, right? But majority of the men. And I was like that once. So I'm not making fun of anybody here. Talking about other things, anger, frustration. Say you're angry and you like to, or you tend to break things when you're angry and you're frustrated. So when anger kicks in, you start breaking and hitting stuff. So the difference between you taking action on a negative or a positive emotion says it all about your future. And I'm not here to criticize any one of you, because we're all here to learn. With that having been said, first of all, let me tell you, my name is Sufyan, and I started this channel 3 years ago to talk about self-improvement, business, and mindset. It's still the same thing, but with a traditionally masculine touch and adding in a little bit of fitness, because I've started to focus a lot on my physique for the past couple of months as well. See, my goal with this channel is to provide you with the best strategies and knowledge in order to get your life together. And the most of the things that I talk about come from my personal experience. And I'm no way a guru. Just want to make that clear. I'm no way a guru. I'm not an expert, but I'm just a guy who is recording himself, who's genuinely honest with you guys. I'm recording my struggles, my journey, and experiences that I've been through. So anything I talk about is, or I tell you guys to do, is like a brotherly advice. So long story short, I genuinely want to help everybody here. Talking about building resilience. And it's a very, very long topic. If I start talking about it, I will go in much deeper details or depths. But today we're talking about one of the key things when it comes to building resilience. And it's updated, 2023. This wouldn't be valid 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So let's first talk about what resilience is. Resilience is like having an inner strength that helps you bounce back from tough times. And when we're looking at 2023, most of the men can't handle tough times. We turn to technology, fake instant pleasure to hide our pain, to deal with our pain. So resilience is all about handling challenges, adapting to changes, and keep moving forward. And if you're looking at most of the men, and when I'm saying most of the men, I don't mean to talk about men negatively. I'm a man as well, and I've been through a lot of stuff, and I've learned the hard way. I've learned this way. So again, whatever I'm talking about here, if you think you're struggling with this, please do not get offended, because sometimes I use harsh language. So, like I said, the definition of resilience is very simple. Being able to handle challenges, adapt to changes, and keeping moving forward, right? Which most of us men in 2023 lack a lot. It's like having a superpower that helps you stay strong even when life gets tough. Being a man, a real man. And I want you to remember that building resilience is a top 1% trait. I just keep this a lot. Is a top 1% trait, as most people go through life letting their emotions and poor decisions control them. So the question is, how important is this to you? If it is surely important enough that if it's really important for you to learn this skill and to build true resilience, please pay close attention for the next few minutes. I'm not going to take very long for this video. I want to dive a little bit deep down into the resilience part in the last 5 years. Where are we falling short and how? So where are we falling short and how? Before I go ahead and dive into that, I just want to talk about a quick backstory about me when I was pretty young, back when I was 17, back in 2016, when I started my NoFap journey. NoFap, we know it's abstaining from porn, masturbation, an orgasm and all that. Doing things with your partner is totally fine, but I've been away from everything. So when I was doing NoFap, there was literally no support system around me, and it was looked at something weird, weird at that time. Building mental toughness, all the masculine things that we're looking at these days all over the internet, it wasn't there. Self-control and disciplining yourself was looked over, and there was no trend about it on social media except the normal YouTube videos, the self-improvement videos. So see, for the last 5 years, we have seen how the world's and the internet's trends have changed massively. Just after the release of short-form content like TikTok, and how our attention span has gotten shorter and shorter. And nothing satisfies us anymore because we're used to the scroll of videos every 0.5 seconds after the video gets bored. So we have unlimited options, endless options to look at the videos that please us and scroll right away from the videos that don't. And the next time you're sitting with your friends and everybody's just on their phones, look at your friends, observe the movement of their fingers and eyeballs. Literally, if they're sitting using their phone, I want you to pay close attention to their fingers and eyeballs, how rapidly they're moving. And also one more thing, which is going to surprise you, is the emotions that come on their faces while watching short-form content. I'll just call it Reels for now. Be it TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Shorts. We have Reels and short-form content everywhere. So, different kinds of emotions. So you're watching this video, it's really funny and prank and you're laughing, ha ha ha, and whatever it is. And then next video is about, you're watching a video about some Middle Eastern country being bombarded or someone dying in an accident. See how fast your emotions are switching around. Do you really think this is genuinely good for your mental health? Literally in milliseconds, we're going on a roller coaster of emotions just by moving our fingers and eyeballs. So it's messing us up inside of our heads. Our heads are literally just empty skulls without any brains inside. Because we're enslaved by technology, and love it or hate it, it is a fact. Let me give you a quick example, right? 30 years ago, if you wanted to watch a movie, you would have to buy the tickets, wait for the movie to come out, go out of your house and stand in a line, wait for your turn, because I'm trying to break all the steps down, right? Buy a ticket, wait for the movie to come out, go out of your house, stand in a line, wait for your turn, and find your seat inside of the cinema and watch. There was an effort. Forget about, let's say if you're with your partner is saying, your spouse is saying, go get me some popcorn, drinks, or whatever. So you have to get up from the movie, go and get yourself popcorns or whatever your partner needs, and then come back. And you missed that part of the movie because it's a huge cinema. No one is going to pause the movie for you because there are a lot of people in there. So there was effort in everything we did before the internet. Now what do we need to do in order to watch a movie? Netflix, YouTube, corn videos, bad videos, whatever. We just need to do 2, 3, 4, 5 taps and we're already there. We're watching. So technology is messing us up in a bad way, but if you're using technology the right way, it is going to really help us grow. Over time, and this is all going to make sense when it comes to the main key point of building resilience in your life. So circling back to the topic where we're talking about the movies and all that, if you want to watch a movie, over time now we're becoming emotionless, and not in a good way. I believe being emotionless to some point is a blessing and is required for us as men to have, but when you can't feel for yourself, when you can't feel for your future, when you can't feel for your bloodline, for your family, when you're just being selfish and constantly letting pain affect you, then that's a problem. And as I said, first of all, why am I talking about TikTok and emotions and Reels when it comes to building resilience? Let me break this down a little bit for you guys, okay? So, do you know what is the new way of solving problem for people? How do people solve their problems? And I've seen this with my very own eyes almost every single day, and you can notice this as well in our society. The next time because our friends and family are the perfect example we can look up to for the things that we do not have to do, because not every family has a top G, not every family has an Andrew Tate, right? So most of the lessons you want to learn is from your friends and family. So the next time you're sitting with a friend, family, or cousin or anything, and they encounter a problem, they encounter a problem, a huge problem, or a mid-sized problem. Look at their behavior closely. How they talk about the problem, complain, cry about it, okay? And then pick up their phones and get back to consuming content. What do you think? Just answer me this, okay? I'll give you 3 seconds. Same scenario, and your friend has encountered a problem or a pain or whatever, and then they go back to using the social media to consuming content. Do you think the intensity of that pain is the same before he picked up the phone? No, it changes. Because you're just diving deep down into the world of other people, into the pleasure, into the happiness, sadness, anger, motivation of other people. And if we really sit down and ask ourselves these questions and look at these scenarios, do we have any idea how dangerous this even is? Because the pain and the emotions you're experiencing while going through a problem is strong enough for you to use that force or energy of pain and come up with a solution. But what do we do? What do we do instead? And I'm guilty of this too. We get back to our phones just to distract ourselves, just to temporarily please ourselves, have that feeling of pleasure. Feel the emotions a bit less so the problem doesn't matter as much as it did when we first encountered it. Which means what? Which means that we do not go at it, we don't fight the problem, we do not fight the pain with the same force, drive, and motivation. And once we just, after encountering problems or pain, or going through pain, we get back to consuming content and living other people's life through just a screen, we tend to make poorer and poorer decisions, which results in not us solving problems the right way. So I'm trying to get to the backbone of what is causing this behavior. If you ask people how to build resiliency or even Google it, okay, because I've done my research before this, shooting this video, they tell you to positive thinking, having a nice circle of friends, but that does matter, of course, but it doesn't matter without understanding the base problem. And as I said, I'm guilty of this too. Oftentimes when I encounter a problem in my personal life or business, is the same thing I do. I turn to my phone instead of a wall, and I will tell you why I say the word wall intentionally. Sometimes I do it as well, and I'm guilty of it too. And because we've just been, for the last couple of years, 5-6 years, when this thing came out, we're just hardwired and we're just programmed to do this. So I turn to my phone if I'm encountering some problems in life, be it business or life, instead of a wall, and I consume content until the pain or the regret of the problem that was caused by my poor decision goes away. So as compared to me staring at a wall and thinking about my problem, coming up with a solution, as compared to doing that, looking at the wall is way better than looking at the screen. So if we're comparing, having a very basic comparison, I'm not talking rocket science here, it's basic common sense. If you're encountering a problem, instead of just going back and consuming content on your phone, instead if you start looking at the wall, you don't have to necessarily look at a wall, it's just an example. You have to sit down, be quiet, eliminate all the distractions, and ask yourself, why did this problem come up? Why am I going through this pain? And what is this trying to teach me? Instead of just getting into other people's life using your phone. So I promise you, once you start to give your mind some idle time, the wall time, and sit and look at the wall or nature or sky for a few minutes, you have no idea how much creative you get about solving your problems. And I promise you, you're going to solve 99% of your life problems, except if there are any medical problems. And it's such a relief when you have a true conversation with your own self. And Jordan Peterson, and because we're living in the world, in the era of technology, I watch Andrew Tate, I watch Jordan Peterson, I watch all these great leaders or role models that we look up to now. I watch them, and Jordan Peterson says, just sit on your bed one day and think about what am I doing with my life? So when you have the true conversation with your own self, miracles happen. And as Andrew Tate says, I don't remember the clip, but he says the worst move you can make on a chessboard if you're losing is to jerk off, right? I've never played chess, I don't know how these things work, but I do understand what he means. So for me now, I would say the worst move is either jerking off when you encounter, so the chessboard is your life, right? You're encountering problems, you're losing in life. What do? Either I jerk off or just pick up my phone and get back to consuming content. It's literally the same thing. It's literally the same thing. Picking up your phone, if you're encountering problems, if you're losing in life, picking up your phone and starting to consume content is the same thing as jerking off. It's even worse. You jerk off, you have post-nut clarity, and you just get back into your senses. But this is an endless scrolling. So, imagine you're losing a chess game, right? And mid-game, you pick up your phone, like you're literally playing chess. I'm not comparing chess to life anymore here, but imagine you're losing a chess game, a literal chess game, and mid-game, you pick up your phone and start watching videos or reels or simping. You're fucked because you're not paying attention to the chess game itself. So, what are the good ways of building resiliency? Okay, we have talked in depth about the problem as what is causing us to be like this as men. Because if I'm just here trying to give you solutions, I don't think that will work. Because you gotta know the why behind the purpose, behind the reason why we're trying to build resiliency. So what are a few good ways of building resiliency? And I'm not gonna keep this video very long because this is very basic knowledge. Go on Google and write how to build resiliency. The point of me shooting this video is to highlight the key point, the base problem, before focusing on the few steps of building resilience. So, what are the few good ways of building resiliency? The first one is this: you gotta put your phone away whenever you encounter a problem. You gotta feel emotions. You gotta feel pain. You gotta face your problems when one occurs. And then the cream on top, because this is the base cake, the base solution, which you have to master. Otherwise, your positive thinking, your positive circle, being grateful, journaling, meditation, it's not going to work because you are constantly distracted. So what are a few ways of building resiliency? Okay, number one is positive thinking. And no matter you talk to successful people, no matter who you talk to who's doing well in life, they tell you the power of positive thinking. And how you think, what you say to yourself, law of attraction, affirmations, whatever you say and whatever you think makes a massive difference in your life. And how can you think the positive way when all you're doing is just consuming content? And I am not here pointing out your mistakes. We're here together as men trying to come up with solutions in order to help each other grow. So, positive thinking comes when you're spending alone time, distraction-free, the wall time, the idle time. When you're trying to come up with solutions. When you're trying to consume positive content. Not just watching motivational 15-second reels about Andrew Tate's quotes. I love the guy, of course, but that's motivation. But some real knowledge. Okay, open up YouTube and watch Andrew Tate's full podcast or interview. That's knowledgeable. Or any other person or whatever you're trying to work on. So once you do that, then the positive thinking comes in. You can't just sit there and start thinking positive. It's not going to happen that way. Gratitude. You got to be grateful of the things you have accomplished. And how can you be grateful? See, everything is just circling back to the main base issue that we talked about here. How can you be grateful when all you're doing is consuming content? When all you're doing is consuming content when the pain hits you, when the problems hit you? And this is an addiction. And you might also find a point that in order to build resiliency, you got to seek support from your family member or friends. I don't believe in the word friends or best friends. It's just the modern day bullshit. I believe in the word of brotherhood. I've tried to have a lot of friends in the last 5 to 10 years. Every single one of them betrayed me. I've always been in a different route in my life, trying to escape the matrix and every single thing, but I couldn't build a strong brotherhood. It's impossible to find here where I live, but I tried to build a brotherhood. I've been backstabbed and betrayed every single time. So how can you seek support or build brotherhood when you are just constantly busy watching or consuming content? Because it's give and take. You can't just expect someone or a male best friend or your brother from another mother come into your life and tell you, hey, do 1, 2, 3, 4. You gotta give them. You gotta show up and show support to them. So in return, they show support to you. That's what true brotherhood is. It doesn't happen when you're just there sitting in bed, laying in bed, trying to take away all your problems by consuming content. How can you help other people with their problems if you're not actually fixing your own shit? And you can actually also cope. Another way of building resilience is you can cope by meditating and spending idle wall time, as I said. You can't even meditate because you're so distracted with consuming content. So point of what I'm saying all of this is here is, yes, there are great ways of building resiliency, but you gotta get to the bottom base point, the key point of what is causing you to not have, or what is causing you to have a hard time to build resiliency, which we talked about is coming up and facing your pains, problems. And before I go ahead and end this video, just a very quick note. If you start to view challenges as opportunities for growth, instead of being discouraged by setbacks, see them as learning experiences. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And use that knowledge to improve yourself and become even stronger. Because life is just like a video game. You keep on leveling up, you keep on leveling up. Example, if you're playing GTA, you just don't level up and make a lot of money by just sitting there. No. You get shot, you get hit with bullets, you get hit by cars, you have your friends betray you, it's all war. So once you have this mentality of viewing challenges as opportunities, and once you make this base, which we just talked about actually facing your problems and pains instead of just distracting yourself with technology and consuming content, I promise you, and this is a promise, and I challenge you to do this, by the way, for the next 2 weeks, any problem or pain that comes up, I want you to put your phone away for 30 to 60 minutes, sit and think about it, and come up with a solution. I promise you, the quality of your life is going to get way, way better. And once your quality of life starts to get way better, you start to make better decisions. And what happens when you start making better decisions? You live an awesome life.